Before I start, I would like to thank you for your presentation. It covered a lot of points that I wanted to talk also, so it's really good. I don't know, maybe if you've heard of GirlsInTech before? Yes? So, GirlsInTech, I will show you a bit of the history behind GirlsInTech, but I would like to make it also personal. So I will start with my background and the experience I have so far in the environment. So I started working inside the internet field a bit by accident. I've done all my studies part-time, so I could finance my studies. And I worked for two companies, which were franking machines producer and then automation products. So also two companies with a lot of men. But then I started with a third company inside the internet. It was a telecom operator. And yet again, all men around. So I don't regret at all, because it's very exciting. It's, as you said, an environment which has a growth rate while we can see record in unemployment. And it's really exciting. I think the internet is shaping a new way of living. So we got to be there and not miss the boat, not miss the train of internet. So since there were not a lot of girls, I looked up on the internet what I could do to try to promote or meet other people inside the same field. And I came across GirlsInTech, which is a private organization, a non-for-profit organization created in the US originally in 2007 by this lady. She had this vision of creating a support group for girls, not women, because behind that was the ideas of being creative, of having fun, if you want to start your company, or if you want to be an engineer. So she created the GirlsInTech in the US, which is an organization focused on the engagement, education, and empowerment of influential women in technology. Big words to say, okay, we will showcase your success stories, we will give you the megaphone so you can be heard by young girls and by adults in the environment, in the internet environment and IT. And she wanted to have a place for meetup, for workshops, whether it's coding, whether it's legal advice for creating your startup. Basically to cover education, networking, coaching, a lot of actions for women to get more involved. So over the past 7 years, 20 countries started hosting a chapter. As you can see, there are 8 in Europe, in Romania, in Luxembourg, in the UK, in Portugal, Greece, in Italy as well, and in Turkey. So we have the same guidelines, and it's always a non-for-profit organization. But then we run the operations independently, and we try to adapt the guidelines to the country we are in. So our missions, as I was saying, to provide a place for women to cultivate ideas, to exchange, maybe find a mentor, try to have a training about coding. For instance, GirlsInTech in Paris have trained more than 200 girls in coding. So they were beginners, and their profiles was mostly young startups, young female entrepreneurs who needed to understand what is coding, because most of them have a website and this is the main business for them. So they needed to understand what is coding. And the other part of the attendance was young girls maybe working in marketing or communication or something else, wanting to change jobs and become coders, developers. So, how does it translate? GirlsInTech has a lot of programs, but I wanted to focus on the main three. One is the Catalyst Conference. It's a two-day event, usually happening in the US, but we want to host it in Amsterdam next year. This is really to give a voice to successful women in IT. So it is composed of lectures, keynotes, panel discussions, debates, and it's attended by more than 500 women, which is really great, a great audience. Then you have the coding workshops, but I was saying as well, you have legal advice, which is important when you want to start your business. And I was mentioning GirlsInTech in Paris, but you have also GirlsInTech in Singapore. So a lot of chapters already have done that, and it's quite a success. And we want to keep doing that, especially in the Netherlands. And then you have the mentorship program, which is called GitM. It's just beginning, but it's really important to focus on that because it's one thing to show a success story. It's another to link two people so they can share their experience and they can move forward together. So that's me.
I take over, so that's me. So a bit about myself, really, like she did. As I said, that was already like a decade into entrepreneurship. I have my startups, I've been in startups, I've been working with VCs that were with the startups, so I'm really into entrepreneurship. And I live in the Netherlands, in the south of the Netherlands, and I have the community of entrepreneurs in the city. And what happened is that when I arrived to the meetups that they organized, there are all men there. I'm normally the only woman in the room, and coming from engineering school, you get used to it. But at some point you have to step back and say, okay, this is not how it should be. There should be more women here and more speaking up about these topics. So I was looking what were the organizations out there, and there was not a chapter yet in the Netherlands, and I wanted to start one in Eindhoven, so I wanted to start one in Amsterdam, and at the end we came up with the idea like, why not to start one within the Netherlands? But make it not just a local thing, but a national thing. So our that chapter is not just another organization, but we aim to link with other organizations, companies, other groups that they do similar, or they want also to empower women, to empower entrepreneurship, to empower IT skills. So for that, we want to set partnership for our program with those organizations. So we don't want just to brand it GirlsInTech and close the doors, but rather open our doors to the rest of everyone who wants to do something together with us. And yeah, so as I said, we are going to focus in Amsterdam and Eindhoven because it's where we live, where we know the cities, but there are already cities lining up to organize GirlsInTech events in the Netherlands. So that's pretty great because we started a few months ago, and we are going to have our launch event actually, where is it? Here. We are going to have a launch event the 3rd of July in Amsterdam, where we are going to share the programs that we are going to develop, what is going to happen in the next months. Plus, we have two speakers, CEO and CTO from companies who are going to share their business experience, what do they do, and what are the headaches that they confront this till now. And as I said, we want to develop programs related with education, so educational programs that will help not just adults, women, but also young generation and young students, because they are the generation of tomorrow. We also want to have promotions, so to give interviews for those local heroes, Dutch heroes in this case, to speak up for them, to make up out there and put them with lights around so people can follow this role model that we have been talking about all this time. Also the networking, we plan to have a monthly meetup where there is just a normal networking but also business, because that will help for the coaching. The coaching is more the mentors, but not only for business but also for career, like what should I do, how should I balance my life. That is also not just for women but for everyone is a pain to solve. And also the investment, I always take everything to entrepreneurship, but it's pretty hard to go and pitch and present in front of everyone and go out there and how to talk with VCs, how to talk with investors, a completely different language. And normally it's easier for guys and for girls to go out there and confront and defend your own company from a venture capitalist. And all that, we want to do it like not just us, but we want to go together with IT companies, VC firms, and whoever, as I said, whoever who wants to hold hands and go together for it. So we have goals for the next year. We have to work pretty hard. For the next summer, we want to increase our team, because right now it's Solène and I, and we want to get more girls, guys, whoever wants to share this vision with us. We also want to define clearly our program, so which programs are we going to have. That is our task for summer. For the next half year, we want to have at least 2 programs running up, and every month a meetup in different cities. And then for the next year, we want to host this annual conference that Solène told about, the Catalyst Conference, plus meet every single European chapter, because if you hear from their experience, we will learn and we will grow faster. So that is our view. I think that is all basically. So if you have any question, I have to leave soon, but Solène is staying here longer. So thank you.
Thank you.
One thing I wanted to add is we talk a lot about the Google, Microsoft, and so on. And it's true that there are a lot involved in supporting programs for women. For instance, workshops, the coding workshops in Paris, they happen in Microsoft premises in Paris just after work. So they were clever enough to understand that the female entrepreneurs had a very tough schedule, and they managed to find a great location, great speakers, great teachers at a great moment. So it was really a success because they understood what was the requirements. But then we work with a lot of smaller companies, and it's not a negative thing. We also have to speak about all the companies out there, and not just the big ones. Okay, Google, it's great. Facebook, well, perfect. But not everyone is Mark Zuckerberg, and maybe that's not the end goal as well. So.
Any questions?
For how long? So I think I understand that. For how long did you start this initiative?
In the Netherlands, we start talking in March.
Yeah.
This
March.
Yes, March. And
This year?
Yeah, this year. So, and we are launching, like, officially open doors for everyone who wants to come in Amsterdam the 3rd of July, and from there we will go through. Because she was moving to the Netherlands, I live in the south, so organize something virtually to Amsterdam, it was pretty hard. And yeah, so at the end we made it happen, so that's good. And yeah, we will go for it.
And you can see a lot of enthusiasm, which is great.
Yeah, exactly. We did no communication, like just meetup.com, everything was like in our, yeah, we will see how this goes. And with zero communication, we have 50 girls who will already wants to come to the event, and we barely did anything. And we have already companies approaching, small companies, as she said, and people who are saying like, you should bring this to Den Haag, to different cities. So I think that that's great. It's just, you know, the motivation that you need to continue with this kind of things.
Are you getting support from the 2 organisations that are listed on here? I'm not going to even try and pronounce them because of
get it?
No, not yet.
They might be useful for communication and publicity and that kind of thing.
We can provide an introduction so that we can at least have a conversation with
Yes,
societies
that would
and
be
see
great.
how to build on that.
Very good. Okay, well, thank you very much.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.